It's middle of peak winter in Manitoba, and tears are rolling down my eyes in pain and despair. I collapse on a half-frozen pile of mud in middle of nowhere, someplace in south of Winnipeg. I'm running an ultramarathon there. As I sit there in the pile of mud, I know that I'm lost. All I know is that I have little more than 6 hours to finish this race. My phone and my GPS is dead. So I look at the hard copy of the race directions, and it suggests to turn left a kilometer from trailhead. And I've been walking on that trail for past 1 hour, and there's no left turn in sight. I'm getting cold. I'm exhausted. I have some bad blisters that are bleeding. For past 19 hours, I have battered frozen lake, miles of Manitoba mud, really soft and deep snow, and endless stretches of vast frozen prairies. All this with a bad stomach. I'm throwing up every 10 minutes if I eat. My body has surrendered to my life's biggest race, and I still have 40 more kilometers to go. I think my battle is over. I'm lost. As I lay in mud, I can hear the sounds of coyotes and see an array of flickering lights at some far distance. While I still try to muster some energy to get up and continue, I think these lights could be the flood bank that all racers must cross to get on to the highway to finish. And if this is a flood bank, I think I still have a chance and finish. But if I'm on the wrong trail, this is the end of it. As I push my glasses up and try to focus my weak eyes on those lights, I remind myself what brought me here at first place. Like a movie looped in fast forward, under the fading glare of those lights, I can see myself sitting in front of television, lonely in my room as a 12-year-old, back in New Delhi, India, watching a documentary on Iditarod, the last great race on planet. A 1,000-mile dog sled race in dead of winter of Alaska, from Anchorage to Nome in far west. That was when I dreamt of racing that trail one day. How? I don't know. I saw Iditarod as the greatest achievement a human could possibly make against nature. And I just wanted to do it. I knew I was weak, I was short, not strong as my friends. So that made me believe I was not good enough. And as I grew up, this feeling got stronger and stronger. And I thought Iditarod could be a way to prove I'm not weak. I'm much more than this fragile body. But I was in New Delhi. I knew I couldn't be a musher. So I decided to bargain with myself. And as years passed, I said to myself, what if I walk that trail? Now I didn't want to be dragged by the dogs. I wanted to be the dog. But I was here, face down in the mud, staring at some flickering lights. I've been training since I was 18 when I ran my first half marathon. And since then, I walked my way up, step by step, built my endurance, faced all the challenges of my first winter here. Yeah. So, as I said, I was running an ultramarathon in Winnipeg. The name is Actif Epica. 120-kilometer long ultramarathon. An ultramarathon is any foot race longer than a marathon, traditionally 50 kilometers or more. Unlike other races, Actif Epica has absolute no support. So whatever you need during that race, like water, food, the mandatory survival gear, the clothes, you have to carry in your backpack from start to finish. Temperatures are generally 30 degrees below freezing. Winds 50 kilometers an hour in general. This is one among the toughest races Canada has to test your will and endurance. And on top of all of that, race officials confirmed this year's conditions were the worst they had ever seen. And I didn't expect that. In my defense, there was very little information available online. Just a few pictures. And all I knew when I signed up was distance is 120 kilometers. I have 25 hours to do it. There is no support. There are 5 mandatory checkpoints where I must report. And even the route is not marked. I will be dependent on some race instructions and a GPS to find my way in a province I've never been before. And I love Canada. I mean, it's such a cool place. Where else would you find such weird weather? So, February was expected to be crazy cold, windy, typical Manitoba's winter. But in the race week, Winnipeg was suddenly under grip of heat. I'm not making this up, okay? When I landed in Winnipeg, people were walking in shorts and t-shirt. I saw a couple of them. Temperature was 2 degrees. People die in my nation in 2 degrees. And these are But the snow was melting. The roads were icy. Trails, a puddle. And it couldn't have got any worse for a race. I was confused whether or not to even start the race. But somehow I did. And landing in Winnipeg was shocker, trust me. This was for the first time I had seen such vast flat lands, all white. Now, I come from New Delhi. It is cramped, I had never seen beyond 20 feet. And then there was Manitoba. In the race, I felt like I was walking for hours and reaching nowhere. Halfway in the race, I remember this tree. I must have been walking towards this for hours. How long did I have come? How long I still had to go? The tree was standing there, teasing from far, seemingly unreachable. As I got cold and I got tired, after walking through some wet, soft snow that was beyond my knees deep, it's when I'd start crying, laughing, feeling blessed for no reason, and cursing myself at the same time, thinking, am I fragile? Am I not strong enough? Is this why my parents were always so protective of me? I'd heard that so many times that I believed I wasn't strong. But your truth is nothing but a belief. A voice in your head that keeps on reciting the same thing over and over. I remind myself that I'm here to fight against that voice and recollect myself. I stand up, pull on another jacket, and start crawling towards those flickering lights. 15 minutes later, the trail turns left. I swim through the snow and climb up the flood bank. And I see 2 headlamps flashing on the other side. Volunteers. They shout, "Gaurav, you're doing amazing! You're almost there!" And I bursted in tears. After all this, I was on the right trail. And I still had 28 more kilometers to go. Slipping my way through icy roads with bleeding feet. I was on the last stretch, the frozen Red River. The top of the river was melting. It was the final hour and I was still little more than 8 kilometers away from the finish. I was running, slipping, falling on the river, getting up, running again and then again falling. Now I didn't know how far I had come. My GPS was not working. And it was just 10 minutes remaining for the finish and I didn't know how far I still had to go. I could see my dreams shattering right in front of my eyes, helpless. Every single building on the left was looking like the finish line. That wasn't. Suddenly, under the bridge, I see a young woman waving and running towards me. I think, volunteer. I quickly run towards her and she thought I was her husband. I wish I was. Anyways, she directs me to the finish. I run harder than I had in past 25 hours. My legs were crying, lungs bursting, feet were now numb. As I crashed through the door, collapsed on the ground while shouting, 52. I must have been lying on the ground for half an hour. My body was in complete collapse. But I was telling myself over and over, you made it. 8 minutes before the end of the race. I was dead, but yet feeling immortal. I was born weak. I wasn't fully baked, so doctors thought I might not even survive. So as I was growing up, I knew this. My body was weak. I was shorter than others. And this thing was in my head that I was not strong. And now, I'm the first one from South Asia to finish that race. As I stand in confidence and look right in the eyes of those voices, through the same body, as I say, I have a dream.